Patton or Aladdin?
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Ocean's 12 or The Village?
Oh, God.
The Village.
Sure, I'll agree with that.
The Dark Knight or Home Alone?
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
Rear Window or Stranger Than Fiction?
Rear Window.
Rear Window.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or Babe?
Willy Wonka.
Babe.
It's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory versus Babe on this episode of Film Fights.
From action to romance, it stays in the moment, even if we don't agree.
Hello everyone and welcome to Film Fights, the podcast where we use a random movie generator to pick two films, and then we pit two contestants against each other to convince me, and maybe you listening out there, on what you're going to watch next. My name is Matt Dodd. Today we have our first rematch of Film Fights with Joe Warner and Remy Swales squaring off against each other like they did way back in episode 3 with Annie Hall and The Shining. Thank you both for coming back.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
It was so long ago.
So this week we have Willy Wonka against Babe. Before we get into that, Joe, have you seen anything good in the past week or so?
I actually started watching Stranger Things,
Okay.
which I'm enjoying.
It's a good show. A
Yeah, it
Netflix
hooks you
show.
in.
80s kind of feel, for sure.
Very retro.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, how about you, Remy? Seen anything this last week?
I did. I watched a fantastic animated film last week, The Little Mermaid. Despite what some people here might say, that movie is fantastic.
I never said it wasn't fantastic.
It is far better than Cinderella could have ever hoped to be, even if she had her fairy godmother's help.
I technically never said it was worse than Cinderella. I just picked that movie in the argument.
Say what you will to salvage your pride.
All right. We'll get down to the topic at hand. Joe, how long has it been since you've seen Willy Wonka?
I feel like I've probably seen it in the last year or two.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it's been on TV or something because it's just one of those movies that's always on and you always stop on it. If you're watching TV, you know.
In case someone's never heard of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, you can kind of give them a little description on what that movie is.
Yeah, it's based on Roald Dahl's book that we all grew up reading in elementary school. But it's about a crazy candy maker who gives out golden tickets.
I think the preferred term is eccentric.
Sure. Thanks, Remy. Just like you.
What else am I supposed to be?
Anyway, so yeah, he runs a contest for kids to come visit his factory by putting tickets inside candy bars. And boy who doesn't really have any money gets one of the tickets and gets to go on the tour. And it'd be very surreal and weird at times. And Gene Wilder is Willy Wonka, and he does a fantastic job playing an eccentric candy maker.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, he had a lot of great roles, great memorable roles, but this is probably the one that most people will remember him for.
Definitely. Though personally, Young Frankenstein's my favorite.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That one's hard to beat.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, I think this is probably a little more universal, like with Willy Wonka.
Oh yeah,
I
just
think.
more recognizable in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. Okay, well, cool. Thank you. All right, Remy. So same questions to kind of get this established here. When was the last time you think you watched Babe?
I'm going to say 7 years ago.
Okay, so a little
Something
while.
like that. It's been a bit of
Yeah.
time has passed since I've watched it.
And if people aren't familiar with Babe, what is that movie about?
It's about a pig who thinks he's a dog.
Okay.
More specifically, a pig on a farm who thinks he can be a sheepdog.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire kind of thing of the film is that he's taken from his mother at a young age to this farm, initially planning to be raised as Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving or something like that. But he bonds with the sheepdog on the farm who kind of takes on the motherly role and raises him. So he starts thinking he's a sheepdog and starts practicing herding the sheep and stuff. And it's about the dynamic of animal life on a farm. And ultimately, he gets to be in a sheepdog competition to show everybody in the whole land of wherever they are about how a pig can herd sheep.
Can herd sheep just like a dog.
That's right.
All right, so thank you both. These are both definitely movies that I watched growing up. I don't remember for sure the first time that I watched them, but I know I've watched both of them several times. Do you guys remember the first time you watched either one of these films, whether your own or the other?
I was but a wee lad. A babe, if you will.
Mm.
Okay. I do remember, actually. It was, I think, 4th grade when we read the book, and then they let us watch the movie, which, when I first watched it, I just kept comparing it to the books. We just finished it.
Right.
I was like, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's
Typical.
this weird tunnel scene with the chicken
Mm-hmm.
decapitation?
Is that
And
where
all
he goes on the boat in the tunnel?
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's no
The weird-
earthly way of knowing.
The weird, crazy scene in the
I
middle
love
of
that scene.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about the movie recently, and like supposedly not all of the kids or none of the kids knew.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they kind of like kept it from him a little bit.
I
Like,
think I remember hearing
and
that.
Gene Wilder was like struggling with some of that because like he wanted to tell them some, but they also wanted to get like a genuine reaction.
Mhm.
So they would do the rehearsal, and he'd do it a little bit like straighter and like quieter, more somber, and then would ramp it up for the real take. So some of those reactions are very genuine when they're kind of in terror. I'm like, that's awesome, but scary as
I think
well.
the classroom had the same reaction when that scene
Yeah.
came up, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
Because he kind of goes into his young Frankenstein persona there a little bit, where he starts yelling. And he's
A
like,
little.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, the
Yeah.
danger must be growing.
But in a intensely more terrifying manner.
Yeah.
Because he's like this sweet, eccentric chocolate maker, and then he just goes over the edge.
Well, and he's like very monotone for the most part
Yeah.
up to there too. Like he just seems very level-headed and very quiet, and like yeah, then it takes a weird dark turn, but still kind of keeps a weird like level feel.
Mhm.
It just ramps up. don't
No,
know.
I mean, for
Yeah.
the whole movie, when you're going in and out of chocolate rooms with waterfalls and rivers and Snosberry wallpaper and whatever, kind of everything's fair game at that point.
Sure. Do you remember? You said you were young when you watched Babe, but no particular memory of an early viewing. of it?
Not specifically. I mean, it came out 95 or something, so
Mhm.
I was 6. I'm dating myself now, but I was 6 at the time when
You
it
were
came out,
6?
I believe. Yes.
That's-
Just soak it in, Joe.
So, would you say that movie had a big impact on your childhood? Like, was it one that you remember as being?
It was one
From
we
your
watched a
childhood.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was me and my brother and sister, we watched that movie a lot when we were kids, and I don't know if it's because we grew up with dogs, and we didn't grow up on a farm necessarily, but we always had dogs, and would kind of had gone to some of those sheep herding events and seen it and watched dogs do that. So it was kind of a fascination in my house. So it was a movie we watched many times and would quote around the house and stuff. And it is, in fact, my Wi-Fi password is taken from the movie.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it here. I was
No,
like,
I'm
oh,
not giving
yeah.
out my password. If you're clever enough to come to my house and figure it out, good on you.
Good luck. All right, so with Joe, do you think Willy Wonka kind of had a major impact in your life as a child, or like even your film life? Because I think there's some cinematic things there.
Yeah.
Is that why you're so weird?
Who knows? Maybe. like I don't think I was in love with it when I first saw it, because it's, especially when you're a kid, it looks very 70s.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a kid, you're interested in things that are new, and I think as I grew up more, I just appreciated it more and more, multiple viewings, and then like once I started getting into like film and all that and techniques and everything, and started appreciating more and more just stylistically
Yeah.
how it's made and story structure, and
Mm-hmm.
how like I mentioned the crazy tunnel scene, but there's that consistent uneasiness with Willy Wonka that you can never know if he's a good guy, if he's a bad guy, if there's
Right.
an antagonist or not.
Mm-hmm.
How
There's,
much of the movie do you think is dependent on Gene Wilder being Willy Wonka?
It's a good question. I mean, because he's definitely
I mean,
the most.
I mean, because
iconic
I would
thing
say
in
from my
mind,
perspective, yeah, he is what makes that
Mhm.
movie. So a lot of it,
Oh,
if
yeah,
I think
definitely would
about
be a different
anybody
movie.
else, yeah, I mean, it would be a completely different film. And,
But
you know, I don't know that it would.
it would
be
be as
as good.
iconic.
I can tell you a single one of the voice actors like in Babe, because James Cromwell,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in it.
He's a farmer.
Yeah, he's the only guy who I could tell you is in the movie. But even though I really like him in it, I think that part could have been played by pretty much any older British-ish type guy or something,
Okay.
and still been a really good film.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just love the core story of it, of a pig that can be a dog, but do the same thing that dogs do, but without the vicious meanness that dogs degrade sheep.
Did this movie inspire you? Like, did you ever want a pig growing up?
Never.
Really?
No.
Why not?
I mean, they're very smart, but they're too smart. I mean, if that thing can best a dog in sheep herding competition, spoiler, then, I can't trust that thing just to be around my house with all my stuff. Who knows what he'll get into?
It's a movie, Remy. It's not all true. Spoiler.
No, it is true.
Spoiler.
There's a documentary.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
You didn't know that?
It's been a long time since I've seen it. I guess as a kid, that didn't register to me that it was a documentary.
Yeah, I mean, it was about genetic animal experimentation, the fact they can talk and stuff, so
That puts
That's around the
this,
time they started cloning
subversive plots.
animals, so makes
I
sense.
guess that checks out. Yeah, it's puts it a whole new perspective on what this movie's about now.
The more you know.
Okay. Joe, what's your favorite scene in Willy Wonka? Is it the tunnel scene?
No, probably not. I don't know. I guess it's interesting at the end when everything's finally revealed. Because even though I knew the story, like watching it, it still keeps you on edge. So I think the reveal was very interesting. How he still seems like this very angry, temperamental, like factory businessman or whatever, just off his rocker, But then he kind of reveals himself, and I don't want to give away the ending, but as it resolves the movie, I just thought it was very interesting how they did that.
Yeah, I read like the opening scene we see him in where he is walking out and stumbles and rolls and like
I love that scene.
yeah, it's a great scene.
Great too.
I read that Gene Wilder like demanded that be part of it. Like that was not part of the script because he wanted like the unease of like not being able to trust him like set apart in the very beginning of like you don't know like how you can really.
I think that was also a surprise to the kids too.
Yeah.
I think I read that too.
Yeah. How about you, Remy? What about Babe? Particular scene stand out?
I mean, yes, there is. The part where Babe interacts with the sheep, kind of one of the very iconic scenes of the movie, where they give him the secret to being able to communicate with all sheep and be trusted and stuff. Because he's just the person or the pig that everybody on the farm loves. That he's friends with the duck, he's friends with the dogs, he's friends with the cows, and then the sheep are the lowest of the low on the farm, but then he befriends them and kind of gets to be part of their family as well. And so that scene is my favorite one because there's the particularly old crotchety sheep, Ma.
Okay.
Who like kind of gives him her blessing to be friends with the sheep.
Okay. So we talked about you not being inspired to get a pig. Joe,
That's true.
Were you inspired to like try to,
Make candy?
make candy or
Open my own chocolate factory.
Yeah, open your own chocolate factory
or
or to
just have
like
psychotic
get a golden
episodes that are
ticket.
random and
Or dive into a river of
comfortable
chocolate
around
and
me at any
get
point in
sucked up a tube.
Yeah, is that your
or something.
excuse for
No,
now?
yeah,
That being because that's how I feel
that's
about
my
you.
personality now.
Correct.
So I figured everyone kind of caught on to that.
Gotcha. I just didn't know this was the inspiration. I never put that together for some reason. So it's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. I actually want to get back to another point. Remy
What?
mentioned Willy Wonka wouldn't be the same without Gene Wilder.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You
from
said
my
that in a
perspective,
demeaning way, though.
I'm saying I feel like he is what that entire movie being good hinges on. Because so many of those moments,
But you
way
could say
he
that
acts
about
and
1,000
falling out.
movies.
You could, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're only talking about 2 right now. And so, as far as Babe goes, I don't feel like it hinders on one crux like that with Gene
It's not
Wilder
one
being
crux.
Willy Wonka.
I mean, Gene Wilder is the anchor, but there's a lot of other things going on.
I mean,
that
you could
make it
replace
great.
pretty much any of those kids or
I
other
mean-
characters, and I wouldn't care. But you replace Gene Wilder, I feel like that changes everything in that film.
Yeah, so would Annie Hall, so would The Shining, so would
What if you changed the voice of Babe?
The Godfather.
What if you changed
Yeah.
Babe to a lizard instead of a pig?
Well,
What if Babe was
I
a
feel like
female?
that's an entirely different dynamic of changing species at that point.
What
it
if it
wouldn't
was
really
a
work
female?
well to have a lizard, a
What if-
female pig?
A female pig. What if it was a female pig? Would it be a different movie?
No, he was a female pig.
It was voiced by a woman.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Christine Cavanaugh, who also voiced
Is that Bart
Chucky, I
Simpson?
believe, in
Oh.
Rugrats.
Oh, that makes
and
sense.
Dexter and Dexter's Laboratory.
Top-notch voice acting.
Yeah.
But tell me this, Joe. How could you not like Babe as much as Willy Wonka? I mean, you've got these talking animals on a farm. It's a sweet, heartfelt story of being able to overcome these odds of being put in a box.
At the same time, that story is pretty typical for a hero quest, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Willy Wonka is just a little bit more unusual in the way it presents it its own hero quest for Charlie becoming
Is Charlie? I guess he's kind of the hero.
he's the
of
protagonist.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the protagonist.
He
Yeah. I
focuses
mean,
on-
technically, the book's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, he really is
Right.
the main character. But
Yeah, I mean the first half of the movie, it's him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you not like pigs? Is that what this is about?
Yes, that's the entire thing.
I knew it. There had to be a reason.
All right, guys. Well, we got to wrap this discussion up. Before I make my final decision, though, it's time for some trivia. Got a couple questions for these two films.
Bring it.
So, Remy, you were talking about the importance of Gene Wilder in that role, and you said James Cromwell didn't make as much of an impact. How many lines do you think James Cromwell had as the farmer in Babe?
I'm gonna say 13.
I am going to say he has about 30.
He has 16 lines,
Ah.
which was enough to get him an Oscar nomination. He was
What's the
nominated for
minimum?
Best Supporting Actor.
No way.
So I'd
Hey,
say
awesome.
he's seen as pretty...
No, I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I think he was awesome in the role.
So speaking of like the script and lines in general, so in Willy Wonka, the last line was changed while they were filming.
By Gene Wilder.
By the director, he called the screenwriter, and they were talking over it. He gave him 5 minutes, and they came up with a different line. What was the original line as they were flying off in the Wonkavator?
I don't even remember the last line.
The last line was...
I know it. You know what happens when... What happened to the boy who got everything he ever wanted? He lived happily ever after.
That's really close. Yeah. Do you know what happens to people who get everything they want in life, Charlie? They live happily ever after.
Willy Wonka says that to him?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the last line. So what
So
was
what
the
was it
original last
originally?
line in the script?
Congratulations, you win.
It's pretty good. It was shorter than that, actually.
That'll do, Charlie.
That would have probably been better. The actual line was, yippee!
Oh.
Which seems weird. It's
Smart
like, really? They
decision
were
to
just going to
change that.
end it that way?
Yeah.
And I guess it didn't dawn on them until sitting down to shoot it. And
Is that how it was
director's
in the
"You gotta
novel,
change
maybe?"
this." I don't know. I don't
I
remember
mean,
the
he
novel
wasn't
well enough.
eccentric, so I guess that would have made sense for him to just give out
Was
one of
that
those
Wonka?
Howard Dean type yells at the end as his send-off.
Was that Willy Wonka's line or Charlie's
I don't know,
line?
right? It had to be
Okay.
Charlie, I would
I would
think.
think.
I feel like that's the only way that would fit. But
I would have liked it better if Willy Wonka had done it. Just if he gave one of those, like,
Just have one
final
more
bow
psychotic
loops at the
episode
end.
to end the movie, so you're still like you
Yeah,
go
not sure.
home unsure of life. That would have been amazing.
How many pigs played the role of Babe?
3.
Yeah, I was going to say 3, but I'll say 4.
It was
one.
48
Whoa.
female pigs, all female pigs.
Hey, told you he was a girl.
They grew so fast the crew would use 6 pigs at a time for 3-week periods.
Wow.
There was
Oh, yeah, I guess
also
that's
one
true. I mean, 'cause he
animatronic
is
pig.
Pretty small pig.
All right, speaking of big numbers, roughly how many takes did the Oompa Loompas have to do the musical number where one of them is doing cartwheels in Willy Wonka?
I'm going to say 23.
Okay,
113.
that's way
I
higher.
feel good about my guess
It's
now.
76. So
Oh,
it's really
okay.
actually closer.
Yeah, Price is Right.
So the actor doing the cartwheels said the language barrier between the other actors kept causing mistiming because all the Oompa Loompas are from different European countries and all, and they weren't the
Where
best
did they
at
shoot it?
speaking. In Germany.
Oh,
And his
I
cartwheeling
did not
suffered
know that.
after doing so many takes, retakes, which is why he's a little like Rocky in the final film.
Oh, yeah, 'cause he
done it
doesn't really get
70-something
the-
times.
he
Like,
doesn't
that's
get the
pretty
full
crazy.
height.
Right.
He kind of,
Right.
is a bit lazy about it. But
But
now
he
it
did
makes
70
sense.
something times. Like I kind of give him credit for that. Like,
Yeah,
all right.
okay, I'll cut him a break now because
Yeah.
I always watched that scene and thought, come on, man. Like, put some effort into it.
Yeah.
But I guess he put effort in for 75 takes and then was just thought, all
Pretty
right, this
good.
is ridiculous.
He's like, we're just going to screw this one up again. We're going to do it again anyway. Like, yeah, fair enough. All right, so it's time to wrap up this episode with your final thoughts. Joe, we'll give you the floor first. Give about a minute or so. Last thoughts on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I mean, if you've somehow made it this far without watching Willy Wonka, then yes, you should watch it. It's just a very interesting, unique, over-the-top movie, and any movie with Gene Wilder is fantastic. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So, Remy, final thoughts on Babe.
If you love animals, you should watch this film. And I think that Joe doesn't like this film because the only animal he has is a cat. And in Babe, the cat is the villain. He's a mean SOB in this movie.
So you're calling me the villain?
No, I'm saying cats are evil. And I think that's something relatively we can all agree on. They have a demon deep inside them. They all secretly just want to kill you. You know, they've done studies that they think about murdering like 6 out of every 10 seconds It's crazy. They're
So,
not to
is
be
that
trusted.
true?
Sure, look it
I'll
up.
push you. Okay, yeah. I'll find your sources later, but I don't disagree. Any further thoughts? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That'll do.
Okay. That'll do, Remy. That'll do.
Remy, do you eat bacon? Just off the top of
Bacon?
my head.
Yes, and sausage
Okay, that's all I have to say.
and pepperoni.
That's it.
Do you eat chocolate?
Of course. Yeah,
Would you jump in
Chocolate
a river
with
of it because
bacon.
you loved it so much?
maybe.
All right, so I'm going to go with Babe.
Hi-oh.
Mainly because it's been longer. I'm going to rewatch both of these because with Gene Wilder passing, I really want to watch Willy Wonka again as well. And I feel like my brain is skewing that way, so I'm almost like counter intuitive, like going the
You're
other
trying
way.
to fight your emotional bias.
Yeah, because emotion wants me to go Willy Wonka, but I don't think that's
Right,
really
and
fair.
I understand that.
So I'm going to go with Babe with the caveat of, like, I will watch both of these. So
Because
you both
this
kinda
show,
win.
if nothing else, is all about fairness.
Yes, in my subjective heart, yes. So you'll get to choose a bonus film in a second, but last week Jordan chose Gleason for us to talk about. It's recent
Gleason.
and still in theaters. You were here, Remy. I'm pretty sure you were sitting right across from her when she was telling us about it.
Refresh my memory.
I'm going to guess neither one of you's seen it. Joe, you probably don't
No,
know
I
what it
haven't
is
seen
at
it.
all, right? I haven't seen it yet either, but in case you missed her recommendation, it was about Steve Gleason, who is an athlete that suffered from
ALS.
ALS, there we go, and was documenting a lot of his struggles through things. And supposedly it's a very, very good documentary. It has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It won an award at South by Southwest earlier this year and was nominated for one at Sundance. So I know there's been a lot of love for that film, and
Okay.
I've heard great things
I've heard the
before
name.
she even
I wasn't sure what it was
recommended
exactly.
So,
Is it
yeah.
out in theaters?
It's in theaters right now, like
National?
limited release right now. So maybe I'll catch up with it, but if not, I'm sure it's going to be on soon. I think she said Amazon may be partially behind it, so I imagine we
Okay.
might see it on Amazon Prime in a
Pretty
few
soon,
months.
yeah.
But yeah, so Remy, what movie would you like to recommend?
The Pokemon movie.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. See you next week.
Okay, the Pokemon movie.
Yep.
What's that movie about?
I don't honestly remember.
Great.
I remember I watched it as a child,
Okay.
and it was the first movie that I remember almost made me cry, but I didn't quite.
So Babe never made you cry, but the Pokemon movie made you cry.
It said almost made me cry. Babe almost made me cry, too. Babe is a very heartfelt film that has emotion, and it's very strong and deep. But it's not that thing where there's that
So-
tear-jerking moment.
The last line is probably the most tear-jerking moment in any movie.
Of Babe?
Yeah, that'll
No,
do.
That's not a tear-jerker.
It's emotional.
Right.
All
That's
right.
different.
We
That's a
gotta
thumbs up.
wrap this up.
That's when you
I'm
start
second guessing
high-fiving,
everything now, but that's all right.
passing
You can
out
comment
drinks.
on the Film Fights Podcast Facebook page to discuss this matchup and what you think, and if Babe is emotional or if Willy Wonka's more emotional. You can tell us your memories of those movies.
Or Pokemon.
Or Pokemon. You can also find me directly on Twitter at Matthew Dodd. You can check out previous episodes of Film Fights on iTunes, SoundCloud, or wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out, and give us a little rating, maybe a little review. It helps other people find this show. So Remy, where would you like people to find you online?
You can find me on Zanga.
I thought maybe that you won this round. You're going to be a little bit more helpful.
No, what do people need to find me for? You just need to watch the movie. You know that I'm right, and you'll enjoy it. That's what I'm here for.
You can find him on Facebook. You can comment on it there. He's also on LinkedIn, supposedly. That's what he told us last week.
Yep. I'm
Also, his
expanding.
phone number is...
So Joe, where can people find you online?
my Instagram's Royalty in Exile. You can find me there.
Okay. Very good.
Are you royalty?
More royalty than you.
Ouch.
Yikes. All right.
That's
Well,
a
thank you both for
bitter
being here. This was a
comment,
fun
Joe.
rematch
It's beneath you.
between the two of you. I'm sure we'll have to do it again at some point because you guys are just so good together. So
Thank you.
nice and friendly.
Make a gorgeous couple.
Aw. Well, thank you out there for listening. Enjoy the movies, everyone.